Making your turtle move through the world. All right, this will be technically our first real project that we're working on. So let's go ahead and we're going to start a new project folder. So we'll just go into your root folder and we'll go to class and there's our first day and we're going to go new folder and let's call that moving. And that's it, call it anything you want to, moving works for me. So there's our folder, that's where we're going to save our files in. So we'll launch Java and let's go ahead and we're going to open. So here, you're on your project, and especially whenever you first get started out, you forget the commands. What commands did we do? What I've taken notes. What am I supposed to do now? So we just want to click File, and we want to open up our last project, which was my first Java project. That way it'll remind us how to get started. By the way, I promise you, you will remember how to do this. It won't take that long, but I understand at the beginning that, that you forget the public class and how to get started. So you just want to open up your reference file where you've taken your notes, and you'll do this often for everything that we do. Remember, any project or lab that we have, it's going to be stuff done in class. So you'll always want to go to your class information to find out how to do this stuff. So we've opened this up and we want to create a new project. So there's our notes. This is what we've taken. This reminds us how to get started. Now we'll just go to File and New. This will be our new project. So let's go here and we'll just select everything and copy it. And we'll go back here. And there we go. All right, I do not encourage you to copy and paste, especially when you're your first-time programmer, because there really is a lot of benefit of typing it in. However, I will copy and paste just to help speed up these videos. So what we've done right here is we've taken this and we've just copied it here. That kind of gets us started. So there's our public class. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to change this name. We're going to get a problem right there. Oh, by the way, we have two projects open right now. There's the one we were initially working on, my first Java project, and then we've got this untitled one. Let's just call this untitled one. We're going to change the name and we're going to call it Turtle Move. Okay, because we're going to talk about moving the turtle. So once we've saved that, or once we've changed the title name, we'll just go to compile. And you'll notice we're still in our first day folder. So we just want to back out of that, go into our class. Here's our moving folder. Notice that the name of the folder has nothing to do with the class name or anything else. It doesn't apply. The rules of spacing and camel case doesn't apply to the folder name. It makes sense to keep the names the same, but I've made them different just so you can see there is a difference. All right, so we'll go into moving, and this is what's important. First, okay, we're in our moving folder. That's where we want to be. We also need to check this, save as, and that's turtle move, and make sure that matches our public class name, turtle move. Capital T, capital M, capital T, capital M. We are good to go. We're going to click save. So now we're ready to move the turtle through the world, but how do we do it? Well, pretty simple. First thing, to make our turtle move, it needs to take turtle steps. And to make turtle steps, we just need to know the command. Command is forward. Okay, now here's the command right here. It says forward. And the T dot in front of it, that tells us what we want to move forward. In this case, we've named our turtle T. That's its name, Turtle T. Why did I choose T? Well, pretty simple. If I would have chosen a long name like, I can't think of a long name right now, Luke Skywalker. Then every time I wanted to move my turtle or do anything with my turtle, I'd have to type in Luke Skywalker dot. Not a huge deal, especially if you're a good typer, but for me, it makes a lot of sense to just name my turtle T. That way, anytime I want this turtle to do, I just do a T dot. It's listening for its name. In this case, I want the forward command. That just tells my turtle to move forward. So if everything is done right, we can compile that and we can run it. And there we go. Turtle started in the middle of the screen right here, and this command, t.forward, made my turtle move forward. Okay, we don't know how much exactly, but we know it made it move forward. So the next thing we want to do is we want to control, well, how far does your turtle actually move? Maybe I don't want to just move forward that much. Maybe I want to move forward a specific step or a specific amount, like maybe 200 steps. So whenever I do that, there I'll just do the same command, t.forward, but instead of leaving this empty, the parentheses empty, I go ahead and I put a 200 in there. Okay? Whenever I do that, we'll just compile that and we will run it. And oh, look, I went all the way up here. Somewhere along the lines, last time I stopped right about here, so that must be 200 more steps. Okay? So that's how I move my turtle. It's a forward command. How do I go backwards or a different direction? Well, we can just do what's called the forward, then we'll go negative. Okay, By the way, there is what's called the backward command. So instead of t dot forward, it'd be t dot backward. It's just the inverse of forward. The reason I stick with forward is so I don't have to type in something new. It's easier for me to type in a negative number than it is to type in a whole new command. But t dot backward would work. In this case, I'm just going to go t dot forward, but a negative amount. In this case, that 200 steps. By the way, if we look at the commands that's going on line 8, I just said t dot forward, moved a certain number of steps. We're not sure how many. On number 9, I said t dot forward 200. Well, there I know it took 200 turtle steps. And then line 10 says t dot forward negative 200. Basically, I just walked off this 200, so I'm at the same place that I started from at line 8. And if we compile that, run it, and there we go. So there's the line. Line didn't go away, but the turtle moved. There's my first t dot forward. There's 200 steps more, 200 steps back. Okay, that's moving a turtle back and forth. Okay, we can also go, we could go as far, 500 backward. That would take us down to the bottom of the world. Okay, so there's our forward command. Next thing we want to do is we want to turn our turtle. So in this case, again, we're using the same t dot. That just tells our turtle what turtle. In this case, we only have one, so its name is t. So the t dot says t, that's your name. And here's the command, turn, and then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, semicolon. Inside this is the degree of the turn. In this case, it's a 90-degree turn. So we're telling the turtle we want to turn 90. So if we compile this and run it, and remember, there's our original commands right there. And there it turned 90 degrees. Okay, so notice that it turns clockwise. Okay, whenever you add a positive number, it's going to turn clockwise. Alternatively, we can go ahead and we can turn it back the way that we had it. So we can go compile it and run it. And these commands just said, and you can start following the commands, what's actually going on here too. Line 8 says move 100. Line 9 says, I told you how much 100 steps in there. Line 9 says move 200 steps forward. Line 10 says move 200 steps backward. Line 13 says turn 90 degrees clockwise. Line 14 says turn 90 degrees counterclockwise. And that's what our turtle's doing. So the last thing we want to do, we know now how to move our turtle forward and backward. We also know how to turn our turtle, so now we can kind of navigate anywhere we want to in our world. But what we really want to do is we want to go to specific locations on our world. And so that's going to be the move to command. You'll notice the camel case right here. Again, big deal. Camel case isn't something I just made up. It's kind of a standard in naming practice. But you will notice, by the way, this is a lowercase, differ from what you see up at the top, which has capitals. And that's the difference between what's called a class name and a method name, which we'll talk about later. Just notice that only the class name gets full capitalization at the beginning of each word. Anything later, you start with a lowercase, and then each additional word gets capitalized. So we'll talk about those rules later, just something to pay attention to. What I'm really interested in right now is this moving to a specific location. And to do that, we use the move to command. And then open parenthesis, close parenthesis, semicolon. And what is in here, these are just coordinates. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to comment out this command before I actually execute it, because we want to look at our world. And so we'll just compile it, and we'll run it. Okay, so here's our world. I'm going to move it kind of center of screen here. So here's your turtle, here's your world. Now we know that our world is 800 by 600 because we made it that big. So there's your 800, 600. All that means is that from this side to this side is 800. That's where your 800 comes. That's horizontal. And then, or x coordinate. And then top to bottom is 600. So it takes 800 steps to go from this corner right over here. I'll kind of make that big if I can. And over here is 800 steps. So 800 steps to go from here to there. 600 steps to go from here down to here. So that's our world dimensions. When our turtle starts right in the middle of the world, right down there. Okay? So what is this coordinate? Well, think of it like this. This coordinate is actually what's called the origin. It's not the origin of where our turtle starts, but it's the origin of our world. This is 0, 0. So right up here, this top corner, 0, 0, 0. 0 steps over, 0 steps down. Okay? All the way over here, okay, we're going to go all the way over here. This is 800 steps over and 0 up and down. Got that? So 0, 0, 800, 0, because it takes 800 steps to get over here, 0 up and down. This corner down here is 0, 600. 0 steps over, but 600 down. And this over here is 800, 600. Because starting from 0, 0, it's 800 steps over, 600 steps down. So the coordinates over here are 800, 600. Okay, notice there's no negatives. Okay, so if you're placing this on a grid, just understand there's no negatives. The coordinate in the center, where the turtle actually starts, let's count it off. We know that here to here is 800, so here to here is 400. Okay, there's our middle line, so that's 400, and we know from here to here is 600, so halfway, because the turtle starts right in the middle of the world, halfway down is 300. So the coordinates for our actual starting place of the turtle would be 400 over, 300 down. So 400, 300, that's where your turtle begins. Now, let's just say that we want to go to a specific location on our world. And we want to end up somewhere over in this side. So let's just pick a number, and we're going to say 200, 200. All right, well, we know that this is 400 over, okay? So we're going to say 200 right here. That's going to be right in the middle of that. And we know it's 300 up and down, so we know that 200 is going to be right about here because that's 300. Okay, so right here would be 300 over. Does it make sense? So if we said 200 over, that's half the distance between 0 and 400, so there's your 200. And then we want to go 200 down. We want our turtle to land right about here. So the coordinates t dot move to would move our turtle to this general area right about here. Let's take a look at that. And we're going to uncomment this line right here. And that's t dot move to 200, 200. We'll compile that. We'll run it. And there it is. So then if we said, okay, we want our turtle to go right down here into this corner, we're going to go one more move to command. So that's going to be t dot move to. And we know that coordinate is 800 over and 600 down. And that'll put us in the bottom corner. So we'll compile that. And we'll run it. And there's your turtle in this corner right there. Okay? And that's it with moving a turtle to specific locations on a grid.